Hello everyone, welcome to Engine Markets training webinar. So here, few people are entering, so give us a minute so that we can start. So before starting with the session, I would like to know if I'm audible to you and if my screen is visible to all of you.
Yeah, both visible and audible.
Okay. Okay. So I'm just, gonna give you an overview of the session that what's going to be, held in this particular session for today. This particular session is all about holding analysis in Engine Markets platform. The first, section will be sectoral holding analysis. The second will be stocks holding analysis, and then we have equity and debt holdings analysis as well. And then in the fourth quadrant, we are gonna have a FAQ session where you can ping in your questions either on chat or either verbally. So both are welcomed. But first, let us finish this entire session. Then we can answer all your FAQs and all your queries. So let us start with the session. I am I can see that many people have joined here. So hopefully we can have a very wonderful session. So give me a moment. I'm just changing my screen. So is my screen visible to every one of you? Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
So here, let's go ahead with the holding analysis. So before walking through the entire holding analysis, I would like to tell you how to access holding analysis. So as you can see, there is a market section here, news section, and the fund section. So within fund section, you just have to click on this fund section, and here you can see reports, category averages, and here you can see the holding analysis column, which is a tab. And here we have sub columns called sectoral changes, stock changes, equity holdings, and debt holdings. So essentially, let's go ahead with the sectoral changes. The sectoral changes comprises of the different asset classes. So you can change different asset classes in the sector changes. You can even select different categories in the SEBI. So let's say you want to go for a mid cap fund, you can directly change that up, and you can even filter the holdings. So all the filtrations of the holdings can happen here in this column. And then we have two toggleable functions here. One is the value rupees invested in crores, and others is the percentage average sector holding. So let's go ahead with the first one, percentage average sector holdings. Basically, this gives you an overview into the sectors, whether which average holdings have been accumulated by all the mutual funds within this entire SEBI classification. So the main thing here is if you just want to drill down into one particular sector, let's say a banking sector, you can see in 31st Jan 2022, the most of the mutual funds who have invested into banking equity mutual funds, they have an average holding of 18.71%. So this just narrates that, and you can just click on this to see the drill down version as to which particular mutual funds are investing highly into that sector. So you can just click on this amount invested in crores, or you can just click on the percentage as well. And that you can see that highest percentage is by Baroda Banking, but the amount invested is just 42 crores. So if you want to see that who is investing very much highly into this banking sector, you can just toggle in this amount invested in crores. As you can see, Kotak FlexiCap is the one which is having the highest investment into this particular sector in terms of crores. So what it gives you a bit of an insight regarding which particular sector you should go for. And if you want to have a more insightful analysis, what you can do is you can click on value rupees invested in crores. Now this gives you a very in-depth overview as to how the capital injection was there before in 28 Feb 2021, 12 months before, and now what is the capital injection. So as you can see, in the banking sector, it was 1,92,000 crores. Now it is 2,41,000 crores. So it has been increased by 50,000 crores within this banking sector. And then you can drill down into one particular, dates. Let's say I want to drill down into 31st August 2021. I can just click on this, and the similar drill down version can be shown to you. So here you can see in this particular range, Kotak still had the highest investment in August 2021. So that is how this entirety of sectoral holdings works out. Now, the brief examples of how you can use this sectoral holding is that, let's say you want to know what is going on with the pharma sector. So you can see that the capital injection was 72,000 crore. Now it is 87,000 crores. And then this red, this particular red highlighted version shows you that before the capital was higher, now it has been decreased, and now it has increased again in this particular month of 31st December 2021. Similarly, you can look into another sector, such as, let's say, insurance. So similarly, you can see 15,000 crores. Now it is 20,000 crores. Sometimes the value can be, can be deduced into the value rupees invested in crores with this particular column. But you can also see the percentage average sector holding as to see if the actual, all the AMCs and the products which are mutual funds, are they actually exiting or, entering those particular sectors or not. So here it can give you a brief overview as to either the AMCs are entering into that sector or not. So this is a very, very useful function. It goes ahead with lots of sectors here. So as you can see here, and the main thing here is that whenever you do a singular fund analysis, it gives you one asset allocation of that one particular fund. So you do not get entire overview as to, let's say, a use case, which flexi cap fund is investing highly into automobile sector. This is a use case question you have. So you can solve this question with just one particular column here. You can just type in flexi cap here, and then you can click on this. You can click on value rupees invested in crores, and then you can see the automobile sector here. And then you can see accordingly that 8,000 crores has been invested. You can click on this, and then you can click on amount invested in crore. So now Motilal Oswal Flexi Cap is having the highest investment in terms of crores. So this is how you can solve those use cases in front of your clients as well. This gives you very in-depth insights as to which fund is actually having the highest investments. Sometimes even some flexi cap or a large cap fund is having more exposure into pharma rather than a sectoral pharma funds. You can get an example here when you can just see the pharmaceuticals. You can just click on, you can just keep it as clear, and then you can click on this 87,000 crores. Once you have clicked that, you can see accordingly that Nippon India Pharma, and then the third one, you can see UTI Flexi Cap. So UTI Flexi Cap is also having the highest investment in crores in terms of, if you can see ranking, it has invested in the second quadrant. You can see that it is 2,468 crores. So this gives you a very, very in-depth overview of other sectoral changes as well. As I've told you before, you can change the asset classes as per your needs, and you can also use this Excel button. So this button downloads the entire engine sector holdings in one particular Excel, and then you can view this Excel as well. So let me show you this Excel as to how you can use this Excel as well. So this is an Excel, format of this entire holding analysis. So this is a sectoral holdings over time, and you can use this even to create a report. So sometimes you can, if you are creating a customized report on a Word for your client, so you can use this particular, data to create the report in Excel. So that is it for the sectoral holdings. The next one, let's go ahead with the stock changes. So stock
No,
changes.
there is finance, there is also banking. So how is that differentiated? Finance is just NBFCs or something else?
So this is a different sector altogether, sir. Banking, if you can see accordingly, that banking it's segregated into all the banks. So these are all the mutual funds which are investing into. So basically, what it does is that all the underlying holdings what the mutual funds hold within the banking and finance. They are all completely different. So let me show you how you can just see into the stock changes altogether that. So let me
Can I
just
ask
show
a
you.
question here, or can I ask the question later?
Sir, if you may, you can ask it later into the.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. So here into the stock changes, as you can see here accordingly, that you can also select asset classes here, different asset classes into the stocks. So this section, this stock changes section is useful for those who are, actually advising their clients into direct equity. Either if you're not into direct equity, this will give you a very, very, insightful information regarding which particular stock is invested, which mutual, how many mutual funds are actually investing highly into that particular stock. And it gives you a, it gives you an overview about if the AMCs are interested into those stocks or not. This is a very factual data. As you can see accordingly, that you can select different categories of stocks, which is large cap, mid cap, and small cap. And then here we have given 3 toggleable columns, which are shares held in lakhs, values rupees invested in crores, and the percentage of average holdings. So if I click on value invested in crores, and if I select my first, the first stock, which is ICICI Bank Limited, it gives you an overview that, okay, AMCs are actually investing 79,000 crores into this stock. So which particular mutual funds who are investing highly into ICICI Bank Limited? So here you can just click on this drill down version. And here you can see that number of shares bought by Kotak FlexiCap is the highest in ICICI Bank Limited. This you can do it for any other stock. So let's say I'm going for an example of a small cap stock. In a generalized sense, if I really want to know who is buying that particular stock and who is holding that number of shares in that particular stock, so what you can do is you can just search accordingly. You can just click on, let's say, Cholamandalam Financial Services. You can just click on this 3,710 crores, and then you can see the drill down version out of it. So here, number of shares bought by SDFC Midcap is the highest in Cholamandalam Financial Services. So you can see according to the amount in crores, you can see according to the average percentage holdings as well. There, what you can do is, if you actually, see according to the percentage holdings, here accordingly, if you can see that L Cargo Logistics is having 5.28%. Now this entire average holdings might be by one fund or might be by thousands of funds, because of thousands of funds. So what you can do is you can just click on this, and you can see, as you can see here, that only one fund is accounting for that particular exposure. So here, that's why what we actually suggest is that you go for value invested, rupees invested in crudes, or you can just go for number of shares. There you get a different overview as to, if I click on number of shares, you can see City Union Bank, you can see Kasur Vaisya Bank, and you can see Gujarat State Petronet. So these are the ones which are held, number of shares held in lakhs. So you can just click on this, and you can see the drill down version out of it. Similarly, this gives you a very good overview. So what you can do here is that once you have selected a stock, let's say a stock such as KPIT Technologies. Let me just delete this up. Okay. So once you have selected KPIT Technologies, you can just click on this to see the technical analysis of that particular stock as the same. So as you can see that the stock price has increased manyfold within this last 1.5 2 years. So you can see the top stocks within the small cap categories which are favored by the AMCs and the products which are mutual funds. So this will give you a a lot of overview, a lot of insight as to which particular stock you want to select for your direct equity holdings. And it's a very, very wonderful function where you can just click on this Excel button and download the entire engine stock holding. So the engine stock holding will look something like this. Yeah, so the stocks holding over time, As you can see, it is similar to the sector holding, but this is just for stocks. One particular stock, you can see that these are all the small cap stocks. So this entire thing is also dynamic as per whatever selections I have made into the analytics is shown into that Excel sheet altogether. So this is the entire stock changes which I have shown it up to you. What you can do is you can even go for a Zomato stock. So let me just just keep it as a large cap as of now. You can just search that Zomato stock with Control F, and as you can see that before in 31st July 2021, the first IPO when happened, you can see the capital injection was huge in crores. So as you can see, this is value invested rupees in crores. Then after few months, the injection, the many AMCs actually started exiting those particular this particular stock. So you can see the exit happened by many fold, and now it is completely like half. If you can just see the nature of this numbers, it is completely like half. And then you can see accordingly the drill down version as to who is holding the highest number of shares in Zomato. So here you can see Motilal Oswal Flexi Cap is having the highest number here. And the problem about average holdings here, which I've stated before, the percentage of holding, this can be solved by just clicking on show fund counts. So if you just go into the small cap, and if you see that the average holding in 5% or 6%, it might be because of only one particular mutual fund. So what you can do is, to solve this, you can just click on show fund counts. This will also give you a lot of overview as to how many mutual funds are actually investing into that particular stock. Even if you go for a large cap stock, here you can see the similar thing, that how many mutual fund are actually holding right now. So for, if I just type in Zomato again, you can see before 92 mutual funds were holding this particular stock Zomato. I'm just zooming this in to actually give you an overview. Yeah. So 92 stocks were holding this particular 92 mutual funds were holding this particular stock, and now there are only 68 mutual funds, and the average holdings has also decreased, and from the all mutual funds. Gives you a very insightful, it's a very, very wonderful function. This holding analysis for sectors and holding analysis for stocks will help you in a lot of challenges when you want to convey it to your client as an advisor. Now there are two more functions, which is equity holdings and debt holdings as well. So let's go for equity holdings. It's very self-explanatory that how you can use this is that, let's say you have one particular stock in mind. Let's say I have a stock named Tata Power. So I want to know which mutual funds are holding Tata Power and what is the fund AUM of that mutual fund. So you can see the holdings in percentage of all those mutual funds. You can see that 4,000 crore has been invested by 127 funds into Tata Power. And then you can see the entire 1 month, 6 months. These are all the stats that can be used, and these are the holdings in crores. So you can sort it accordingly as per your needs to search those particular equity holdings. And in the left side, we have given top 25 stocks held by open-ended funds. So these are the top stocks favored by all the mutual funds. As you can if you really want to know that what are the top 25 stocks, so you can just see in this left side. So ICICI Bank, HDFC, these are all the top stocks. TCS, we have HCL as well, we have Tata Steel and M&M. So these are all the stocks. You can even click on one of them to see which are those mutual funds who are holding them. So you can see that Nippon India ETF Sharia is having the highest percentage of holding. But if you want to know holding in crores, you can just click on this. So SBI ETF Nifty is having the highest holdings in crores. Similarly, you can download this table, and the use of this table is very useful. If you just type in, let me just type in another one, Hindustan Unilever. Okay, I think this one, Hindustan Unilever, and I am making an holding equity holdings report for my client. Let's say there is a let's say there is a use case that I'm making a equity holdings report. So what I can do is I can download this entire holdings I can, keep it as, number of highest holdings here. So once I download this up, this entire table, I can open the Excel. Now, once I open the Excel, I have lots of things to do in Excel, and I can make a report and I can, input them into a Word file as well. So this is very, very useful. Let me just load in the Excel. I hope my Excel screen is visible to all of you here. As you can see, what I can do here is I can do a lot of things. So I will just give you a basic use case of this is that you can make a graphs out of it, this entire thing, or either way you can select top 5, funds which are holding Hindustan Unilever. Then you can just copy this up. You can make, a different format of the table as in this much. So once I make this format, I can just, use this as my, actual data report for my customized template. So I have actually created a customized template here in the Word. So you can see equity holdings report. So what I can do is I can just paste it here. So once I've pasted I can just use this particular data for my report. So this can be very, very useful, when you create such a report for your client with holdings analysis, and when you're making a customizable report, this will be giving you leverage into your advisory business as well. So I'm just giving you an example. This is a very basic overview of using such report. As you can see here, and I can write my own recommendation as to who are holding highest into this particular Hindustan Unilever stock. So this is one use case. You can even use this similar thing for debt holdings as well. So it's very useful. So I will just show you, how you can leverage the debt holdings tab and use it for your, advisory business. So let's go to the debt holdings. I've just finished this entire thing off. The debt holdings is one of the most important, function here is that you can find the defaulted debt papers. So how you can do that? You can just search for that particular debt name. So let's say I'm just typing in Reliance. So once I type in Reliance and I search for it, I can see the entire entirety of Reliance debt papers. So from Reliance Capital to Reliance Jio and Reliance Industries, everything is available here. I can just sort in according to the ratings, and I can see there are I think seven debt papers who are actually defaulted here, and these are the mutual funds. This is the fund which is actually holding those particular debt papers. And this can also be, by the way, downloaded in Excel. So I can also make a debt holdings tab for my Word file, for my customized research report file. And you can even search this particular debt security. So let's say you have this ISIN number now. You can just copy this ISIN number and search this, and you can search who is holding this particular debt paper. So only these are the funds who are holding this debt paper. These are all defaulted. You can see the holding percentages. So I think they have exited their holdings into this. So you can understand accordingly that Nippon has exited. Similarly, you can search for any other debt paper. So let's say you search for corporate debts. So you can search for those corporate debts here. And for HDFC, these are the funds which are holding that debt paper with this current ratings. The thing here is, if you have ISIN number of any debt paper, you can directly input that ISIN number here. So it doesn't matter if you don't know the debt, security name. So you can just type in those ISIN number, and the dialog box will show you those debt securities accordingly. And similarly, we have given in the left side top debt sectors and mutual funds. So these are all the top debt sectors within, government securities, treasury bills, finance, refineries, power and generation. And then you can, download this entire table in Excel. So I will just, type in Reliance for an example to give you an overview as to, how you can download this entire thing into Excel. So once you have downloaded this, you can see that you can open this on Excel, and this particular file can be used for your own customized report. You can make your, own, you can see that ratings are given here. The number of, even the debt security with their ISINs are given here. So every single data is available in Engine Markets for the debt holdings. And the main thing here is that, once you make a portfolio, once you use this particular thing, you can easily make a diversified portfolio altogether. So the conclusion of this entire session is that this sector changes will help you to determine which particular sector is actually favored by the AMCs. What are the capital injections happening by those AMCs and why are they favoring them? So these are all the data available to you to use it accordingly. And then we have stock changes as well to back it up. If those stocks are favored by AMCs, then that is a possibility that that stock is actually performing. So this entire thing can help you in choosing effective stocks for your direct equity as well. And also you can recognize certain debt papers which are defaulted, or certain debt papers which are having a very good rating. So you can just recognize accordingly, you can search them and you can sort them. And so that is it for the entire session. So we may start with the FAQ section now. So everybody, if you have questions, so we can just go ahead with that.
I have some questions. Hello?
Yes.
In the debt side, when you explain about searching the debt papers, right? It is very difficult for us to search for the debt papers on the company wise. But if you can be able to search something by rating basis, rating is given a D means default base, default, that will be more helpful for us.
Got it, sir. So it is your suggestion from your side. We will note it down, sir.
Okay. And secondly, in the sector analyzing the stocks or sectors, one question on the stock side, are you keeping all the stocks are available in the software, or only the top 10, top 20 is available of the particular schemes of the fund?
So you mean about stock changes, sir, right?
The stock changes, all the stocks.
So, sir, if I say that all the stocks are available, actually, only those stocks will be available here, which are actually bought by the AMCs. So, if any mutual fund is not buying into the stocks, the data won't be available.
I'm saying the mutual fund who's been purchasing some of the stocks, like the micro caps and all, very small quantity they've been purchased. Those are also available in the
definitely software. You can see the entire list of stocks within large to small cap. So you can search those particular stock accordingly here.
Okay. Thank you. My last question is, you are showing in the sector analysis and all, you just start with the sector stocks, but you start with the date wise. Start from the last year. It would have been, instead of starting for the last year, if you could have started with the current year and end with the last year, it would be more helpful, because we can able to see what is current holding, then what seeing it what is the last year holding it. And again, we have to scroll it down that side, come back and see it. It will be a little difficult for us, even for Excel sheet, even for software. Thank you.
Got it, sir. Thank you so much for your suggestion. I have noted that down, and we will definitely give you an answer for that. Any other questions? So there is a question from Mr. Lalit Somani that the suggestion is that you add market cap next to the stock name and also the PE. So Arunabh sir, are you available here?
Yeah. So yeah, of course. I mean, we can. I guess we were just trying to make sure there's enough space. I mean, it's getting quite cramped up, as you can see already. So we'll try and see if we can fit that in. The suggestion about reversing the dates, I think, is great. Obviously the current date, then going back in time. So we'll do that. We'll try and see if we can insert market cap and PE next to the stock. I guess the problem is, once we start doing that, there are probably other items. Maybe we can remove the ISIN, because that's probably not useful to see. Maybe in the download it's useful. So maybe we could remove the ISIN and then put some more useful information here. Something like market cap or PE. So that's there. If anybody else has any other questions, please let us know. I mean, the data that is shown here is effectively analyzing everything that we have, all funds and all their holdings. We didn't spend too much time going into the debt, the types of holdings. Umair, if you could go to sector changes for a second. And the reason we didn't spend too much time is there's too many of them. But if you click on that, you'll see these are basically the type. Some people could call it asset class or type, but these are different types of holdings that are reported by mutual funds. Obviously, we have been focusing on stocks, so we've selected equity. But you could go to other things like corporate debt, commercial paper, etc. And then obviously you'll have to change the universe of your fund from equity to debt to get some good results. But again, you can really kind of play around here a lot and get some really nice insights. I mean, the thing that Umesh showed you about Zomato, it makes complete sense. The 3,800 crores coming down to 2,100. So these kind of things, I mean, we already know that, but there are other things that we don't know that can sometimes pop out. And I can personally tell you that quite a few of our users have used this to pick out some nice small cap ideas just by looking at what mutual funds, fund managers are doing. Obviously, they have a lot more information about what's going on. So maybe they have more ideas and more information or insights about picking the right small cap stocks. And some of these are quite amazing performance. Obviously, not counting the last 4 days, but until at least the last 4 days, some of these top items in the small cap, if you click and look at their performance, it's incredible. They're like 4 or 5 times in 1 year. So you can get some decent ideas here as well for stocks. So yeah, it's good to play around. And if you have suggestions, please do let us know and we'll look into it.
So any other questions?
Hi, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, sir, actually, I wanted to know that since we have been looking stock-wise, so and these mutual fund holdings are adding on these stocks. So, I wanted to know how what is the downtime or the real-time update of these purchase and sale of this stock purchase. So, in case if a fund buys an X stock, so that will be updated in the software in like how many hours, or like in a day or in 2 days? What is the time?
Sure. Yeah, also mutual funds are only reporting their portfolios in totality. If you take everybody once a month, some of them have started mid-month holdings as well. But generally speaking, most of them report their positions once a month. So their transactions are definitely not publicly available. We can obviously only analyze data that is available to everybody, and individual transaction data is definitely not available. I mean, today is the 25th of February. I'm sure mutual funds are buying, selling a lot of stuff on a day like today or yesterday, but that information unfortunately isn't available to anyone. However, they will report to us what their positions were on the 28th of February, and that report will come to us approximately around between 5th and 10th of next month. So that is the situation right now. And obviously we can, as soon as the data is released, the very same night it's updated on our systems. But data, holding data that comes faster than this, as far as we're aware, isn't really available on a large scale anywhere. So as soon as the data comes to us, which is in the first 5 to 10 days, working days of the month, it's updated in our systems, not just here, but everywhere.
So after the data is released, so approximately in the next 24 hours, it's updated from your end, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Can I ask the question on not on this session? Oh, okay, somebody else has raised the hand. They can finish. Because my question is on the previous session that you did on the mutual funds. So if it is appropriate, I would like to ask now, or I can take it up later.
Definitely, sir. You can ask the question.
Okay, so can you go to that mutual funds section, individual fund, any fund you just pick up? any one fund, and I would like to see on the rolling analysis some understanding of these parameters. Okay. Yes. Yeah, the rolling analysis. Here, okay, this is absolutely. Can you make it analyze there? All right. Okay. So I just wanted to understand these definitions, the better, the way it has been conceived here, so that we are able to interpret it suitably. Now, the way I understand on the rolling return statistics here is the average is the rolling returns, right? The 19.9%, 15.38 on 2-year rolling and 15.06 on 3-year rolling. Is my understanding correct there?
Yes, sir. Yes, and I will just kind of repeat the definition. So 19.9% in this case is the average of all the 260-day periods in the past for this fund.
Okay, so for example, start date is 2016 here.
Yes.
So yeah, it is taken average of 1 year, that is for every 260 days.
Yes.
Since 2016, from one day to another date, like that.
Exactly. So basically, this is counting every 260-day period, starting from approximately 1st April 2017, because that's when the first 260-day period will be available.
Right.
Then 2nd April 2017, 3rd April 2017, and so on. And every day it looks back, counts the last 260 working days, calculates the number. And this is the average of all those numbers.
Okay. Okay, fine. So I understand that now. And volatility is just the standard deviation during that time?
Yes. So this is the volatility of all those numbers. So basically on the chart, the blue line that you see, this is the standard deviation of the blue line. So this is showing you how volatile the 260-day return is over time, which means, and you can see it's quite volatile because it can go up as high as 17%, while it can go as low as 15, 20% sometimes. So this is the volatility of the 1 year return over the last X number of years.
All right. And I'm just mathematically, I'm just wondering, why would the volatility reduce when I take it to 3 years?
Oh, sure, because you can actually see it on the chart. Sumer, put all three, and you can clearly kind of see that the black chart is less volatile than the blue chart. That's because the changes over a 2 year period, let's say the changes of a 2 year period versus another 2 year period, is not that different when compared to the change of a 1 year period to another 1 year period. So the reason that the black line, which is the 2 year line, is less volatile is simply because it's a longer time period. And generally speaking, you would expect that, because over a 2 year period, even if there are drawdowns, usually they are recovered. So it's not that a 2 year period will sometimes be up 80% or down 80%, where a 6 month period or a 3 month period could easily go a lot negative or a lot positive, but a 2 year period generally will not. A 3 year period even less so, which is why that green line is, you can see, even less volatile because it's a longer period. So of course, if you remain invested for 3 years into something and kind of disregard the path, then the volatility you will experience in your overall return will be less.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So in the same context, can you just explain on that high and low also?
Sure. So the high and low is pretty straightforward. What you see there, 68.21%, that is the best 260-day period this fund has ever had in this from 2016.
So the high and low is on the returns, or it is on the volatility?
On the returns. On the returns.
On the returns. Okay. 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 All
best and worst.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
So for example, you can make a factual statement that this fund has never lost more than 15.2% in a 1 year period.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that would be a better interpretation.
Yeah, and this is quite useful because if somebody asks, how long do I have to stay invested in this fund to at least have some certainty that I won't lose money, then in this case, if history has anything to say, we would say 3 years.
Right. Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, this is a very nice explanation for me to know. Can you just a little bit go down there? All right. Yeah, here. Yes. So this is the returns distribution in different categories like -10, -5. This you can understand.
Yes.
Um,
So here, sir, the best way to use this is actually above there. We are looking at 260 here in particular. So if you look at the high and low on the top, 68.2 and 15.2, right? -15.2. So may I just do in the first from where it says -10, let's put -15, right? And forget the rest right now. Come down to the last from. Yeah, this one put like 70%. So this is our entire range, from -15 all the way up to 70%. Now we can see the range of 10 to 70 is too big, so it's not really giving us any insights. So now this is subjective. You can do 50 to 70, then 20 to 50 in the previous one, and then you see how this actually starts to give you probabilities, which is quite a nice thing, especially when to manage expectations for clients. And I think most of them are high. So yeah, fine, 0 to 25. Okay, so there you go. So if we stop at this section, we are saying that 55.2% of all 260 periods happen to be between 0 and 25%. So probability wise, you have more than half a chance, more than 50% chance that you will definitely be positive. You could be up to 25% also.
all right. Okay.
Right. So, and if you see what probability do I have of being worse off than -5%, then it's 9.3. So 9 times out of 10, I could be below 5% down, right? But this gives you a nice kind of view into what the probability of success or failure is.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, just help me with the following table also on the.
So this one, sir, we believe this is extremely important, the rolling volatility analysis. This actually, this turned out to be a pretty nice chart for this fund. And so this is actually showing you how stable the annual volatility of this fund is. Now, Umair, can you just quickly go to the performance tab and then come back here for 1 second? Usually, whenever we look at standard deviation annual volatility, we look at this number. Everywhere we see. We look at 14.87. But how representative is this really of the volatility you want? Now, this is a standard deviation that has been calculated over the last 6-7 years or whatever, 8 years this period is. But if you come back to rolling analysis, this is actually showing you that in reality, things are very different. Because you can see, for example, this 260 rolling vol, it used to be around 10-11%, and that's fine. So this is, this is pretty expected. Then COVID hit, lockdown hit, and the rolling vol has jumped to 20%. Now, if you were sitting on this period of time, that 14% number would have looked quite incorrect, because you'd be experiencing vol which is much higher. So, and then you can see as the 260-day rolling window goes past the lockdown, which is probably around March 2021. So may I just keep going ahead? Yeah, there you go. So now the rolling window has kind of gone past March 2020. The last 260 days doesn't cover that period. And you can see it's dropping really, really fast. So this also tells us that after that crazy period of March 2020, things have started to become less volatile. Okay. And however, it has still not come down to the kind of standard deviation it used to have before, which is 10-11%, is still around 13-14. So on average, you can see this number 14.16 is not that far off from the actual standard deviation. So this is pretty good. We know that we are going to get the kind of volatility we are expecting. And in other funds, you might see a much more volatile rolling vol chart, which should give you some cause for concern that you might be thinking you're getting into an 18% standard deviation fund. 1 year later, you're sitting at 30%. And that obviously can cause problems.
Okay. Okay. So from the table on the right-hand side, what's the inference we can derive? Yeah. So,
Sure.
what
So
one
this, yeah. So here the average row, that is the most important. This gives you an idea. This is a much, for example, 260, 520, 780. These, these are a much better example of what standard deviation this fund will show, rather than that single number that you see on the performance page. Because this is an average of many, many rolling periods over the entire history of this fund. So this is a much more representative number of what kind of volatility we expect. So so this is important to look at, because again, look at the 3-year vol is very high, and it's going to remain high until we pass 3 years from March 2020. So it will remain high till March 23. And
this is still carrying that 2000.
Exactly, it's carrying that load. But when we look at a standard deviation, that the normal number, the 14% that we saw on the performance page, that is considering all the periods and a small period in March 2020, which went crazy. So that's not, it's almost discarding it as it has happened and it's gone, it's finished. But this one is remembering it. So that's why it's important to look at the first row to get a better sense of what the rolling vol is like. All these numbers are annualized, and volatility we always report annualized. And then basically when you look at volatility, this is a bit more, kind of problematic to, it's a mathematical number. Conceptually, it's a bit more, it's a weird number because it's the volatility of the rolling volatility. So it has to be as low as possible, of course. So this basically shows how volatile is your standard deviation of your fund, right? So you don't want to see high numbers here for sure. And high and low, again, they can be very useful, because you know that over a 1-year period, I could be displaying standard deviation of almost 25%, while if things become very low, it can be around about 10.
So could you just repeat here that high is the during the high time and the low is during the low time, and average is the average. So the volatility of 5.13%, could you just repeat that part again,
Sure.
please?
The volatility of 5.13% here refers to the fact that this is the standard deviation of the blue line that you see here. And what is the blue line? The blue line, every single point in the blue line is a standard deviation number of the underlying return. So this is showing how volatile is my fund's volatility. Does it stay stable or does it go up and down a lot? Because
okay, got it.
Yeah. So that performance page number, that is the number that everybody keeps showing, that one single number. But this number, if I check it 2 months later, it will be different. 3 months later, it will be different. This is showing you how that number is evolving, and further how volatile is that number.
Yes.
Okay, got it. And sir, in this rolling data, the first table, could you come back again? Yeah. Yes. So in this, so since here in the 780 days, it is the low went up to like negative 0.15%.
Yeah.
So so in case if the negative is like instead of like 0.15, if it was like 2% or 1%,
Sure.
so here we are understanding it takes like around 2 years, so 365 days, 780 days.
Yeah.
So 2 years is what we are understanding it. So in case if it comes up to 2%, so how much it would be? Like how many years would it take for
Sure.
that to like stay invested in this fund? So that number, how will I be able to understand that?
So that number, unfortunately, you have to kind of try and guess a little bit. So 780, so maybe let's go 800, see what we get. I think we'll start getting positive. So yeah, just let's run that. Yeah, so there you go. So I mean, I can make a statement that, okay, if you invest in 800 days, you'll be positive. Now, again, we have to use these words carefully. When I say you'll be positive, as Padmanabhan sir just pointed out on the chat, obviously what we are doing here is analyzing history. That doesn't mean that the future will, follow history. Obviously, it will not. But again, historical data is anything that is everything that anyone has. No one has any other information, so we can at least get our percentages right. So here you can see that if you're invested for 800 days, you would have been okay in the past. So at least you can make the assumption that at least with that assumption, I can hope that I would be okay in the future as well.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
Well, Naman sir, it's this. I think this is a fund you wanted to see. So we are looking at the same numbers here. So 780 is pretty. It's still pretty low.
Actually, Axis is a very, very low volatile small cap fund, and Birla is a very high volatile. So
Yes.
just to take those two funds so that we can understand all those metrics better. That's the reason I asked you to show this one.
Yeah. So yeah, perfect. So here you can see the the 780 days much worse than what we were looking at earlier. 78.8%. So I mean, this gives you a little bit of a hit of reality, right? Because I'm going to put some money in February 2022. I'll be sitting 3 years later, February 2025, and I'm down 20% still, right? So you have to be ready for that. And this is, by the way, this is true. This is completely true. There is some unlucky investor who is down 17.8% today because he or she invested at exactly the wrong periods of time. Of course, you can see this on the drawdowns chart as well to kind of understand that. But there'll be, there you go. I mean, whoever got in 2018, that thing, was in really bad shape. And the COVID drawdown is just the end of it. They were already in drawdown before that. So these kind of numbers do really give you a good idea. If you come back to rolling analysis, let's have a look at the vol as well. So again, so your 260, average rolling is also, you can see quite high. It's about 18%. So again, obviously all these numbers will only make sense relative to one another. There's nothing to say that 18% standard deviation is bad or good. Obviously it's relative to what the market is doing or the other funds in that particular category is doing, in which case you probably start looking at the compare section and start comparing things together. So hopefully that explains some of it.
Yeah. This was very nice to learn about this one. We were looking at these numbers, but we didn't know what to interpret it.
Of course. We have been talking about all the different topics we can do in the coming weeks. We did have a session earlier about rolling analysis, but we can definitely have one more because we've added a couple of features, and we'll also talk about a couple of other stats like capture ratios, stop ratios, etc. And how we're calculating them. Some of it may be very basic stuff, which all of you know, but I think it makes sense sometimes to just go through basic stuff again anyway.
Yes,
yeah. So yeah, if there are any other questions, please let us know.
One more request now I have already requested. See, today everyone can download BSE Sensex closing, BSE mid cap, small cap, any index. Yes, every day closing like NAV we can download. Yeah. But whenever we are comparing that SIP, so for example, large cap fund, how much it has generated SIP. At the same time, somebody invested in a BSE Sensex or Nifty or probably Nifty TARI, something like that. So if you include index also, that will be great. As of now, it is not coming whenever we want to compare the SIP report.
I see. So in the SIP report, you would like to, yes, of course. Yes, we remember that. Yes. Just to confirm to others also, what sir is asking for is you can load a fund to run an SIP. You can load a stock, and we will get this done as soon as possible, sir. And there will be another box there where you can search any index, and then SIP analysis will show for that index. Obviously, we make some basic assumption like 1 unit, etc., something like
that. And most of the stock, hardly we are having some 4 years, 5 years, 2016, or some stocks only 2010 or 12. So, in case if we want to have a longer period of time, say for example 10 years, 15 years, but that is not possible, especially when it comes to stocks SIP. Normally 4 years, 5 years, maximum is I'm seeing 10 years. So why don't you make it for a longer period of time?
Yes, sir. So our data provider is
Say, for example, if you take, let us take ITC or, for example, Reliance, I think it will be there. Even Infosys also only some 6 years, 7 years is there.
Yes.
So we need more 10 years, 15 years kind of data.
Yeah. So initially, our data provider only gave us the amount of data that you see here. So they're being a bit difficult about getting us more historical data, but I will ask Dave also again to call up and start just negotiating with them. Right. So as soon as it's there, we will update you.
Thank you.
Perfect.
So there is one more question by Mr. Pramod is that when comparing portfolio, there is no provision for gold and index.
Sure. So gold and index, we haven't added these two as separate items that you can add to a portfolio. Currently, as things stand, you can still add them, but you have to first upload them as a custom security and then add them to the portfolio. Having said that, we are looking at ways of including index and index directly into a portfolio. But until then, this is still possible using custom securities.
So is there any other questions from anyone? Okay, fair enough. So we shall assume that all the queries for this particular session has been resolved. So we are going to come up in the next session with something more interesting, with a new topic altogether. So I would request all of you to join in that session, and hopefully we can meet again on Friday, 4 o'clock at the same timings. So thank you so much, everyone.